Scott Fisher and Northside will have Pulaski coming up this week. I played the name game with Coach Fisher a couple weeks back. Word association, not so much. It's I give a name, you tell a story, or do whatever you want to do. We talked about his high school coach, Jim Hickam, Bert Torrance, and more. Going back with Scott Fisher, the name game on the Sports Buffet podcast. All right, we'll play a little bit of the name game with Scott Fisher. Now, it doesn't have to be like word association, one or two words. I'm just going to name a name. He's going to give me a story or whatever he thinks of when it comes to mind. I know we've talked about him ad nauseum, but one more time, Jim Hickam.
Yeah, he kind of molded me where I am today, honestly, in terms of work ethic and how we handle kids, and utmost respect for him.
What's something that people did not know about Jim Hickam that you wish they did?
He was a caring person. He was fair. If you put the work in, especially in the weight room, he'd find a place to play you on Friday nights, 100%.
Bert Torrance.
Bert Torrance was probably one of the best football coaches I've ever been around.
Why?
His attention to detail was second to none.
What does attention to detail mean to you?
Well, it's the small things that lead up to big things that do it right, and you'll see a good result at the end of it, and it's over and over and over repetition.
When you started coaching, were you was it all VHS or was it digital around at that point?
No, heck, when we started, I guess when I started coaching, we traded CDs at that time back in the day.
Because you're only 23.
Correct. Yeah, I
So,
remember Coach Hickam. Coach Hickam used to drive. They were 8mm films,
yep.
and they would drive and trade them. I remember that.
Because it was normally the in-between spot, and I think you're giving your last two was more the
That's
thing back in the older days.
correct. Mm-hmm.
So when you got the DVDs or whatever, how many times are you watching one play?
Oh, that's a bunch. Let's just say that 8, 9, 10 times maybe.
Huddle make it easier nowadays?
Huddle made it so easy. Yes.
So you're still watching a play like 9 or 10 times or more.
Yeah, probably. You can break down a whole section now. So you may not watch that one specific play, but you'll watch that play over and over in different games.
When you're looking at a play, how much are you looking for what's happening where the ball is as opposed to where the ball isn't, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it's a great question. Probably both, as bad as that answer is. Because when we watch film, each coach is responsible for a particular item during that play. So we would not necessarily watch the play to see what the result is, although we count that. But we love to see what backside people are doing.
Nothing's a bad answer if it's truthful, so we'll take that. Not a name, but I'm going to kind of go with this because you assisted Coach Torrance, you assisted Coach
Mhm.
Hickam.
Sure. Yes.
Okay, so you can give them your input, but at the end of the day, the decision's on them. Now the decision's on you, and you're looking to your right and left for input. How different is that role from an assistant to a head coach of, hey, now the buck stops with me. The buck used to not stop with me.
Yeah. That's a great question too. So I've got really 3 or 4 guys on the staff that I look to help make those decisions. And you're exactly right. Input is taken, and then decision is made, and then the result of that decision is good or bad, right? And sometimes I get the response that I'm looking for, and sometimes I don't.
What's I mean, when you say the response you're looking for, do you already have
Hmm.
it preset in your head of this is what I want to hear you say, even if it's not what I believe, or do you
Yes.
kind of want the agreement of the yes person?
No, I want to hear that. I know what I want to do, and I will ask somebody. Right? Maybe it's fourth and 3. Maybe we want to punt. Maybe we want to go for it. Whatever that scenario is, and we'll talk about it on the headsets. But I already know what I want to do, and then something may ring true that I have gotten response from other coaches, and then I'll say, you know what, that makes really good sense, and I'll change my mind.
How do you handle disagreement to where it does not hurt somebody's feelings?
We always say it's not personal. When I was on staff with Coach Torrance, He and I got into it on the sideline once.
No, you don't say. You and Bert got into it. That's a shocker.
No, well, only once. Like I said, he was an excellent football coach. Is an excellent football coach. We got into it one time, and it was really a misunderstanding. We talked about it. Never happened again. No issues. It's a respect factor, and we had that. My best friend's on the sideline with me, Sean Eves, and we've gotten into it a couple times, but it's over and done with afterwards.
And I'm kind of making fun about you being the tough nosed guy. You are Coach Torrance being the tough nosed guy. He is, but I don't think people understand when you say getting into it. It's not like we're dropping our headsets and throwing fists. It's like we just see there's a picture over there. Well, I see it has a sky. Well, I see it has the ground. So it's not like a fighting thing.
Hmm.
It's just a disagreement thing. And I
Yep,
got to
it is.
imagine that's not going to only happen on the sidelines because the older you get in life, that's going to happen at home with your
Hmm.
spouse. That might happen with kids. I mean, do you feel like handling conflict away from football makes it easier to handle conflict at football?
Probably. I think having those experiences in life helps handling that. Yes.
Because I would imagine selling insurance, you can't have a ton of conflict because, quote unquote, the customer's always right type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
We'll go with that. Yes. That'd be an accurate statement. We'll
Well,
go with that.
how do you have conflict in the business world doing what you do, if you don't mind me asking?
you know, right now, a lot of it has to do with coverage and rates.
Hmm.
Rates in Virginia and all insurance products are up. Some people think it's personal that when I buy a new car, I'm making more money, and the rate is because of that because I made it that way. And we all know, or most of us know, that that doesn't really happen. So it's a sometimes it's a learning experience for the client as well.
This is going to be the worst verbiage I've ever used in my life, but I'm going to say somebody is a seller. I don't know what the word for that would be, but you're pitching your service to somebody, or you're teaching. What is Scott Fisher better at, teaching or in teaching slash educating, or pitching the service?
I think they're pretty closely related. In our business, it's really, if you want to be successful in our business, you got to be able to talk and teach people. You can buy insurance like toothpaste, right? It's just got a different name on it. You want those people that are buying, you want them to buy from you, not necessarily from the company you represent. It helps your retention. So being upfront and honest with people and explaining the features is really really important.
What is the best thing you teach on the football field in terms of, like, I mean, you were a quarterback. Are you better at teaching
Mhm.
to throw? Or are you better at teaching to hand the football off? I mean, does that make sense? What are you better at teaching at on the field?
Yeah, I try to teach respect on the field. There's not a lot of people playing the game right now, and those numbers continue to fall. And I always tell my guys, wrestlers are extremely high on my level of respect. Football players are probably right there neck and neck. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It's not easy. So even though, we talk about winning the battle one on one with the guy in front of you or as a team, you still respect your opponent because they're playing the same thing you're playing and they're playing for the same reasons.
Name game, Tyler Fisher.
He's intense.
Tough to love him as a dad, as opposed to coaching him, two different things, or can you kind of mold that into one?
Yep. So I was an assistant when Tyler was coming through. I did not coach his position group, and I was not involved in anything where he would touch the football. He was a talented player. Everybody knew, when it was on the line, he was going to have the football in his hands. It was a proud dad moment. Even though I was on the sideline, I was still his dad, and enjoyed watching him play.
I've had a coach tell me before that if you want to know how good you did, ask your mom, but if you want the critique and criticism, ask me. Is that the way you are as a dad?
I really enjoyed watching all three of my kids play. They were all talented. They all three played the same positions. They all three had opportunities to play at the next level. And I'll be honest with you, we really didn't talk a lot about critiquing them as a football player unless it was on the field. I really tried hard to separate that. Um,
How hard
I,
was that,
I,
by the way?
it was hard, but it's just part of it. I tried to be as fair as I could be when my kids were playing. I was on the staff with Coach Torrance. We were playing down at Liberty Bedford. My oldest son Tyler didn't do something correctly, and Bert, lit him up on the sideline, and I was standing right beside him. I never once looked over, never got involved in that conversation, not one time.
Um,
Um,
Go ahead, keep going.
so it's difficult, but it's something that needs to be done to keep the relationship with the other players too.
How did you decide on Carson Newman?
They ran the split veer, and there wasn't too many places for a wishbone quarterback to go unless it was a military academy at that time.
Did you ever think about it? Military
I
academy?
did. I did. Yeah, I actually had an opportunity to go to Army, and turned it down and went to Carson Newman instead.
Talk about discipline, because if you're going to go to a military academy, I remember Mark Hanks one time told me when he was at VMI helping Coach, I'd love to come here, but can you do something about that M? Talk about the discipline to, not, it's a different breed. I've got to imagine going to a structured military type academy. You didn't do that, but talk to me about discipline and structure.
I think it's a key component of everything you do in life, whether it's being a parent, being a dad, mom, or whatever have you. But in sports, it's a must have.
I believe you said you respect wrestlers, number one, then football players, number two, if I was listening correctly.
You are right. Yep.
Is it? Did you? Well, I'm going to take a guess. Maybe did you wrestle?
I did not wrestle. No.
Wow, shock! I
Yeah.
thought that was where it was coming from.
No, I did not. I did not wrestle. No, sir.
When you are in school, I'm assuming you had buddies that wrestled,
Yeah, sure.
because I had friends that wrestled and they would leave lunch and go run with, it's 75 degrees or whatever outside, and they're wearing sweats to try to
Yes.
sweat off that weight. I call that an incredible amount of discipline. Did you see that with guys that quote unquote guys that wrestled? I shouldn't say quote unquote, but guys that wrestled.
Yeah, absolutely. Still see it today. Yeah, absolutely.
How do you keep that, as a supportive friend or coach? How do you stay encouraging in that method to where, hey, I don't want you to cut five, and I know VHSL has some different rules now. I don't want you to cut
Mm.
5 pounds in 3 hours type of thing. I don't want you to cut so much weight to where it leads to a health issue for you. How do you stay encouraging in that role?
Yeah, well, of course, I don't coach wrestling at all, but it comes into play in football too. Making sure that the kids don't lose more than 6 pounds a day in camp and that kind of stuff. It's basically a check in, check out with us. Weigh, and then we have a trainer on staff too that keeps up with that. But I think wrestlers are so committed to what they do, and I don't know if it's instinctive or if it's learned. I don't know, but those guys are most of them are extremely disciplined.
A few final questions in the name game. One, maybe one of the better athletes. Two, that I can remember to come through Northside, Adam Hardister.
Adam was a great guy. His dad, Steve, and I coached a travel baseball team together. The guys were 9-year-old when we put it together, and they were 18 when we disbanded it, and they were all starters on the high school baseball team when we won the state championship at Northside. And Adam was as cool as a cucumber as a quarterback. He couldn't run it, but he could throw it, and he was one of the smartest players ever to be around.
Is that a trait a quarterback has to have, the cool as a cucumber?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, we threw the ball a lot more when Adam was there, and he did a wonderful job. He was, you know, spot on.
Now, no offense here, but Bert does not strike me as Ronnie Bass from Remember the Titans, to where he's that, flowing blonde hair lock, to where he threw the ball a lot when he played either. What made the adjustment from a running style to a passing style quarterback?
I think it's just using the ability of the players that you have, and Adam was surrounded by extremely talented running backs and slots at the same time, which probably made him a little bit better quarterback because people, couldn't really focus in on him 100%. We were fortunate to have talented players around him.
You talked about the importance of athletic trainers when it comes to wrestlers and everything else. Do you guys have athletic trainers? Were they really prevalent in the mid to late 80s?
No. The only thing that we had as an athletic trainer was, you got 2 salt tablets when you went out for practice. That was it. So
go ahead, keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. No, it's okay. And we didn't have any trainers. We went and got named Pat Weichel. He was awesome. He was an ex-military, ex-middle linebacker for Northside. He would tape the ankles. Your feet would turn blue. He was awesome about that. But today we have our own. He's employed by Corellian, works in the school system, handles all the sports at Northside. Has been there for, I think, going on 11 years now.
How important is it to have that athletic trainer in every Friday night or whatever? That if a guy gets hurt, his ankles are not going to maybe turn blue if he gets taped up.
Yeah. Ricky does a good job. Ricky LaPrad's our guy, and does a good job. He's at all the practices and all the games. He also covers, in the fall, he'll have volleyball and cheerleading going on at the same time.
How many concussions do you think you played with?
Oh, who knows? Several, back in the day.
Are we going to donate your brain for CTE?
I hope not. I wouldn't think so. But who knows, right?
Final question. High school. The only requirement on this is you cannot pick anybody immediately related to you, alive or dead. You can have dinner with 4 people. Who are they?
In the football world, right?
I don't care. I mean, it's
okay.
I'm the worst interviewer in the world. You can pick whatever you want. So,
I don't know. Probably like to have dinner with Joel Hicks.
Okay,
thought that'd be kind of cool.
I'll tell you what. Let me separate real quick. We'll go 4 in the football world and then 4 not in the football world.
I don't even know if I could get you that many, but I'll try.
We'll do what we can.
Yeah. So I'd probably like to have Ben Franklin.
Okay.
Back in the old days, right?
Okay. So Joel's at one table, Ben's at another table.
Yep. George Washington, probably.
Okay.
Probably, I forget the guy's name that was the actor in Gladiator.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, like to have. I like to have dinner with him or something one day.
There's 3. Now we've got our non-football table here. So
okay.
One more.
Let's see here.
Are you big into leadership?
Yeah, not too. Okay. Not.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. You were going to say I forgot her name.
Yeah. I can't think of her name. A real pretty girl. I don't know. That's irrelevant. But yeah,
we got 3 people and a real pretty girl. We won't tell Mrs. Fisher.
Yeah, that's fine. She knows. She knows the subject. And then football wise, Coach Hicks would be one. Probably Mike Smith, from Hampton back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Spurrier and Urban Myers.
Steve Spurrier, shock. How did he get in there? So
he just kind of slipped in there.
Well, you're going to have the jokes taken care of from one person at least, or the one-liners, I should say. You can't spell citrus without UT.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You just heard from head coach of the Northside Vikings, Scott Fisher. Vikings head to Pulaski this week. You'll hear from Northside Pulaski, hopefully a lot of other people throughout the year on the Sports Buffet podcast. My name is Bob Alvis.